This was so crazy, guys. Last night I went on this like rant because I guess somebody else, I guess a whole bunch of people, but you could thank me for bringing up that Mr. Kiddies thing from a long time ago. Apparently, when I brought all that up again, I guess a whole bunch of people found out, and then more people found out, and then more people found out, and it went down this rabbit hole. It was kind of interesting. And now there's new people figuring it out, and they started doing clips on TikTok, and I just so happened to run across one, and they showed a picture. It was so gross. I was like, oh, I didn't even check if those two were hanging out, Diddy and Mr. Kitties, and yeah, they were. And so was David Spade. And I go, I see, I did my clip on that to kind of explain this weird fandom that I had with them as a kid. I don't know, it was like in my late teens, probably up until before Me Too, before any of that, because he was actually, well, number one, you don't want to actually meet these people. That was like the joke of the whole thing. I go, he's that guy that you look at and you go, oh, you don't want to meet him because it'll totally get ruined. Because you know, well, you just know, well. You just know, well. But I had this like long running joke about this thing. But no, I was totally a fan. I would literally go and see him in Las Vegas and out here, I think it was in Pomona or somewhere over there. And but I never stayed to go meet him. I never stayed after the fact to go meet him or any of that stuff. I would go see the show and I would leave. So I don't even have pictures of us. I never even spoke a damn word to that dude. But what I do know is that the perpetrators camp here that I was dealing with, they know them, like they're friends. I don't know how good of friends they are, but they know them. So they've played golf together. The lawyer knows all about him. Everything. I go, yeah. So then when Me Too came up, or right before it actually, he was just talking very negatively about women coming forward. And then I go, oh yeah, he hangs out at Hef's mansion. I go, see, that's the guy you don't want to know about. So, yeah, so he's not for, he thinks he has a right to act like this. I don't know. I don't know exactly what he's done. Like, I didn't hear any, like, victim stories other than when he dated Laura Flynn Boyle and her speaking, and I was listening to her speak, and I was like, oh God, I wouldn't want to date. I mean, really wouldn't want to date him because, Jack Nicholson. So Jack Nicholson apparently is the Trump, worse than Trump. Okay, he's the worse than Trump guy. And she's the only one that I've seen say that. And I go, what's so funny is that he must be so much worse than Trump that everybody's so disgusted they don't even want to talk about him. And then last night, well, I started seeing these weird news stories with Jack Nicholson in him. And I go, I didn't even say his name. I call him worse than Trump. And so I guess maybe the AI knows that I'm talking about him. I don't know. But it started popping up all these stories about him. And I was like, yuck. And then I run across the TikTok video. And that person was bringing up, Anthony's thing and their relationship with Diddy. And I go, oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I hadn't even had time yet to go down that rabbit hole because I've been going down everybody else's. And I was like, oh, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised. No. And it almost looked like Anthony's on his lap and then David's like, trying to get in on the whole thing. And I was like, oh, yeah. And they're like, please say he's not part of it. I go, oh, trust. He's not very positive towards female issues. We'll put it that way. So, yeah. And no, I haven't seen that dude in a million years. Like the last time was in the early 2000s, I think. And then as time went on, I don't know. Like I was reading the stories, like I said, Laura Flynn Boyle and stuff. So then I end up with a photo with Jack Nicholson, right? And I just recently, and I was like, oh God. I go, I wonder why though. Like all the stories are totally on the low. So I'm like reading in the comment section. And they said that in the book of Mr. Kiddies, like he mentioned Jack was hitting on his girlfriend or something like that. And I'm like, well, you're all a bunch of swine. So, I mean, what's your problem? You hit on everybody else. So, yeah, and people were questioning, like, why wasn't he in jail? Why, how can you write a book like this? He's putting his naked, minor girlfriend. I don't know. There's all kinds of things. I go, yeah. So, it's out in the open, in the public arena. He's making money off it. They're glorifying him, but the worst story I think in this is the person that's related to a Diddy party and then everybody else in it. So, yeah, so we've already basically here and on Twitter for the past like 20 years, we kind of went through all the people in this huge, pile of shit, basically. And I said it's everybody because at a point you start to go, oh yeah, no, they're all into it because everybody in the circle is the problem, right? So this dude apparently, I guess they had a Diddy party together. I don't know. They sponsored it, did something, something, something. I saw his name. I go, I don't really know who the guy is. I've heard his name probably before, but yeah, he has a relationship to Madonna. And I go, yeah, Madonna doesn't have any friends. Okay, so somebody stole my photo from 1994. So that thing is a real thing, and I can legally pursue somebody for that, just saying. Um, but again, we're trying to figure out what the down low is on that and who did it and why and what the bullshit is. So I don't take too kindly to that kind of thing. It's not like redoing someone's song and, paying homage to them because you're a fan of them. It's just a blatant ripoff, okay? And I have to pay for everything. So I'm not up in here sleeping with all these people to get to the top or anything like that. I actually had a job and I had to pay for that. So I own the legal rights to that. I'm just saying. But the photographer is still roaming around here. So maybe she has some part of guilt in it because it could be from them or me showing it. I have shown a lot of those photos online. But that photographer does celebrity photography now. Back then she did bands. So I don't really know. I tried to reach out to them, but a lot of people don't reach back. I don't know. I don't know if it's a thing that they don't know who I am and it's not clicking or they're just snotty. I mean, I have no idea. I have no idea, but she got paid. So this person has a dealing with Madonna. You can read the thing on the Wikipedia. But they also have a dealing with Ashton, that fake Kutcher, and a guy named Ronald. They're co-founder of A Grade Investments. So you guys are gonna start seeing this pyramid scheme going on, and I want you guys to pay attention. Because the underlying problem to this, besides, they're all human traffickers, but that's why they wanted to be human traffickers, because their dream was to be rich and human traffickers. Is a pyramid scheme for men. And women are going to be involved in the pyramid scheme because they're going to be enabling this conduct. And you're going to see the people that are enabling the conduct and promoting the conduct. And these are all the bullies, the organized crime, the mafia, all the things that you guys keep pulling out separately or whatever, or calling it the Illuminati. That one's the best. But technically there's a truth underlying in that conspiracy, quote unquote. It's not a conspiracy, actually. It's actually a group of very rich men. It was typically white men, but, they all gather now, so it just becomes a big super PAC of criminal people. And they basically run control of everything, including politics, investments, and also if you create the trends and you create everything out here, well then guess who gets the first dibs on being able to, perceive what's going to sell and what doesn't. There's a lot of things to this universe of idiots, okay? And they want the rest of you to be really dumb, so you just think that, you're just doing something wrong and it's all your fault, and these guys are just special. They're just special from God. Okay, this is bullshit. So in this clown car is these people. They're all hanging out with Diddy. Diddy is not the showman, though he does run a huge portion of things. But all these other people have been crappy outside that circle, so they wouldn't be there unless they're just shitty humans, okay? And they do all these investments, so they're making more money together and doing all these things where you're not going to be in on it, okay, guys? Madonna and them founded a chain together of fitness stuff. Okay, so there's that. So Madonna made some comments a long time ago, like, when victims come forward, I see if, they need money or want money. And I go, wow, it looks like you guys want a hell of a lot of money and got a lot of money from doing it. So flip these arguments around, because in the correct fashion, it should be, Who's gaining the most by covering up shit? Oh, these people, right? So they're multimillionaires. Victims are not. That's not a thing, guys. Okay, so then, yeah, so we see Ashton in here. But the last portion of this was so disgusting. I go, okay, this is a thing where you could literally prove that these people do know what's going on. Okay, so at some point they bring in the chili peppers. Okay, and they have been very much of a problem. So I started covering them and I got targeted to hell. Well, apparently everybody else that's been covering them has been getting targeted to hell. So I'm not special, okay? I'm not special. It's just they really tried to take me down. Let me see, 8 years ago. And they're like, you can't say this kind of thing. And I go, I'm literally reading from the damn book. It's the same thing with the Michael thing. It's like, I'm literally looking at a photograph right now and his mouth is all over this kid and about to break her neck. Yeah, I don't know. So, yeah, so apparently they tried to do it. The thing that pisses me off is that YouTube's such a piece of, you know what, that they allow it to happen. And then I have to fight it. But if I don't fight it, they win. And so if I miss emails or things like that, then they win for no reason. And that shouldn't even be going on. It's not even a legitimate claim. So, singer for them. Okay, so if you read the book, which I didn't actually read the entire book. The girl that was doing the TikTok actually did. I'm like, good for you. I'm not going to suffer through that. I read the most important parts that were in question. And it went down this other road of, oh, there's more bad people. We have Cher. She's a woman, so her conduct there is in question. But then I went down Cher's background, and it is atrocious. Atrocious. And it's partly, okay, so her mom's fault. I guess it's her family's fault, and also the public's. So now she's a total screwball thinking about this topic. So I was like, oh, that explains why nobody cared that I got raped. Okay. So yes, there's a pyramid scheme, a financial pyramid scheme. So who's making all the rules and laws and helping people out to become financially wealthy? All the rapists. Yes. And they're going to keep down anybody that says a damn bad word. Have you seen Taylor Swift come out with like a tank of allegations against a bunch of celebs? I mean, sexual allegations. So keep an eye on that type of thing. So if it's the model girl and the guys that are being nice to her are not going to be nice to me because the people that I have complaints about, all these people are friends. So everybody else up in here that's having problems, it's because they have made allegations on very wealthy people. And this circle is large. It is so large that it would almost be near impossible for me to pull out every single bad guy. Because I'm going to show you right here in this little paragraph. Okay, so they wanted to announce the Scar Tissue, the book of him promoting that he raped a kid and, was a cop daughter, everything like that. That he wanted to turn it into a theatrical movie with Madonna's guy here. Why? It should be in a courtroom. And a guy named Brian producing the film for, now we have more people in this, for Universal Pictures. Why would Universal Pictures want to be a part of that? Somebody knowingly did this to be vindictive evil. Because it's not a thing where somebody goes, oh, wow, I didn't know that Anthony was like all over women and doing this conduct. And Madonna's over here fake parading that, she's for women and all these, whatever her thing is over there. Fake. That's fake. It's false. You would not be in a group of people like this. Ashton's fake. The guy's fake. He's doing the Diddy shit. We got this Anthony Kiddies thing. Like, you could have picked anybody under the sun to do anything for another movie on, not trying to sit there and try to make a perpetrator have sympathy for a perpetrator. This is literally equal to doing Ted Bundy things, and they keep doing this, and it's so annoying. So there's no care in the world for the female victims in the story. He tries to paint himself as some type of victim that, he just didn't know. Okay, that's always on the male. And you're going to try to tell Ray that you didn't know a 14-year-old. She just threw herself off. Whatever the bullshit is with this. So this is going on. So all these people are fine with going after kids, and also these bigwig universal picture people, management. So what is he considered? He's a talent manager. And with Amy Schumer, who's been called out too for ridiculous bullshit. But yes. So how is Amy Schumer the one that's been out here where they're like, we love her and everything else? These people are the ones that targeted other women. So, yeah, Madonna, Amy, the ones that are sitting there saying they're for women, up with the Diddy Party guy, and then brings in well-known child predator, woman predator generally, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Can you explain this to me? These people are so fake, it's not even funny. What did you get from it? Money, right? Money. So what is the end goal for their bullshit? Money. Money. Fame and money. And they're going to bully everybody to no end. So every time I bring them up, they're going to target me. Guess what clan's going to target me? These people, these fake people. Okay. And then look at his philanthropy. I had to laugh at it because I was like, oh, you go on these sites sometimes and they have like a million things that they did all these charities and all this stuff. He's got like one sentence. And I go, yeah, it should be, we hate women. We target women. We're frauds and fakes up in here. And we're part of a pyramid scheme to keep everybody down. This is not a way to open up opportunities for other women into an artistic career. So art is for everybody, regardless of how famous or not famous you are. It's an industry that it should be for everyone, not these idiots, for themselves, so they can go running human trafficking rings, throwing their little orgy parties everywhere, just running over people, stealing things. The list can go on and on and on. They've been part of organized crime, and it is not a thing where they're so dumb they didn't know. At least in this particular group of people right here, they're not. Moving on. So as I was talking about that last night, I posted this before he got arrested. I go, oh, wow, it's so funny. They do this documentary on, A&F, and, Ashton doesn't say crap on it, nor did Taylor. I didn't hear anything from them. If they did, I missed it. I go, nobody said anything. I go, it's a pretty dark ass story. And I didn't even know it existed. It was so weird. It was like I was watching this thing. And he had opened up a lot of different topics to think about it in a different way as well. And I go look in the media, and the media is like, oh, A&F's sales is becoming hot again. I go, oh, really? Did we just run over the story like no other, and now it just helped it to make more sales? Okay. Well, I go to bed, I just wake up, and he gets arrested. And I'm like, well, I don't know, but it just happened as I'm going on these people. Okay, so Mike Jeffries gets arrested on sex trafficking charges along with his two associates. And that one guy had the patch on his nose. I was laughing at that. So this one dude has a patch on his nose. He lived in Wisconsin. He was allegedly recruiting men to bring to Mike Jeffries. And Ashton did all the modeling, and those ads are geared towards men. Ashton was trying to play around that he is so dumb to the whole thing, and yet he's at Diddy parties. Okay, there's a whole thing to that. Okay, on sex trafficking and interstate prostitution charges. So I have an issue with them using the word prostitute, but also in the context of these stories. They're being forced into situations and led into, and even extended outside of this situation. So that's just another thing. Even if some people are choosing to be in there, I'm glad that this story kind of this one and the Diddy one actually touches on, even if you are a quote unquote sex worker, you could still be a victim. And it was really important to bring that forward because these men prey particularly on that community of people so they can not get in trouble half the time. But, and it's usually just but they treat everybody that way. So regardless of who they treat that way, they're always that way. So they could treat somebody like that way, but they're also going to treat other women that way. And women are condoning rape because they like rape. I mean, that's just the truth of it. If you're sitting there posting under Marilyn Manson that you think rape is hot, What I was trying to convey on that a decade ago, whenever that happened, because it's an area that I'm educated on. So, if you're okaying rape, you're basically enabling a rapist somewhere, and you're not going to even catch the flags because you're fine with him raping you. I mean, it's kind of this thing, but then also you have to question why you think rape is hot. And that's going to go down into their childhood, and then it's going to go into the environmental factors, from things like, as there was a story that pulled up with P. Diddy and his ads for perfume, where the perfume ads are basically showing rape. And I go, well, yeah, so when you're a child and you pick up these things in the environment, then you just normalize it, and then somehow that they get turned on by that, and they think it's normal, and then you see people that you think is hot, and then doing that stuff. So there was a questionable Michael Jackson video as well, where it's basically stalking, and then he really did stalk women. So they okayed and normalized stalking women, and women are a hot mess. So the flags are there. They just normalized those things and ignored it because they're fine with it. They're a hot mess. They need to go to therapy. Okay, so, and I'm picking it up, and they're targeting me, and they're like, it's totally fine. I'm like, did you go to a doctor? And did the doctor look at your head? Did you tell your doctor, like, you're fine with this? Because I know they didn't. So, yeah, and they'll come out here going, I went for 2 years, and I'm totally fine. Like, they'll do this thing. And it's like, you're never going to be fine. Do you know, all these things are incurable. So another thing is, it's like, once you're into something, that's it. I mean, it's not, I mean, you could sit there and try to therapy it away of like not act out on it, but it's pretty much hardwired. I mean, if you're into men, you're into men. If you're into being raped, you're into being raped. I mean, that's the thing. And you need to identify that and then work your issues out. So yeah, they're going to sit there and go, my husband's a serial rapist. I don't believe it. And then the whole time when they first met, he raped her. Right? But then she doesn't identify the fact that he didn't ask for consent ever, and she thinks it's normal. So it's there. The flags are there, you guys. Okay, so he gets busted. Okay, the former CEO of A&F got arrested. And he was arrested in Florida. Florida's a fake place. Do I want to talk about that other story really quick? Okay, so there's this pastor guy that's out here promoting to kill us victims. That's exactly what I was targeting on Twitter. And now he framed it as, if they ask for the death penalty for rapists, then we need to kill women that lie about rape. Well, the truth is that most people actually don't lie about rape, and the ones that do have mental health issues. And then he started blaming Me Too for the death penalty thing. I go, but Me Too didn't ask for the death penalty. It is Christians in Florida that are basically making a stance that it's okay to rape kids 12 and over, but we're going to kill anybody that does it underneath that. It's not even us doing it. So he was promoting this. So what they were doing was on Twitter, they were promoting to kill rape victims, basically, because they said that most women lie. So basically, he was asking to put us all to death. He wasn't the only one. There was a tank of them, and he joined actually Twitter in 2009. So that has nothing to do with Elon Musk. That had to do with Jack's Twitter, and that's what I was going at. And they tried to say that I'm the one that was asking to kill victims, which is asinine. And I would like to see where I've been doing that. That never happened. I was being heavily sarcastic on these comments because to mentally go and read dumb people and evil, you have to take it in a certain way. And it was sort of like, oh yeah, sure, you should go do this and you should do that. It was so nonchalant, like, yeah. And so the person that I put it towards tried to play a victim and say that I was promoting that, when in reality, all these people, because it wasn't just that, they were asking and posing a question like, what should we do with these people? It was a manner how they're talking. So, like, we're objects. Like, you're going to make a decision. And what are you going to do with me? Human trafficking. That's the mindset of a human trafficking rapist. What are you gonna do with me? You're not gonna ask me, what are you gonna do with me? This came up in a Kanye West story too, with one of their pals, um, trying to pass around a masseuse, and the guy actually downgrading Kanye to being just fake. I go, no, he's mentally off kilter. And you are too, for sitting there laughing at his mental illnesses, and you're missing all the flags. I could literally go on. Anyway, so I pull up the story, and so yeah, related back to Florida. So Florida and their fake DP, we did not ask for the DP. That is the most insane thing for this crime. But anyways, two other associates, Matthew Smith of West Palm Beach and James Jacobson, who's patch nose guy in Wisconsin, were also arrested in connection with sex trafficking charges. So they're expected to appear in federal court in Florida and Wisconsin today. So we do have a child human trafficker in Wisconsin right now. That is CM, that is related to the Michael Jackson Powell drug ring. So somehow he was able to flee into Wisconsin, like, I guess in the 90s? I would like to know what the hell right here. I was like, what is in Wisconsin? This other family was trying to drag me there. I would never go there now. And arranged on a later date in the Eastern District of New York. Jeffries was the CEO of the popular clothing brand from 1992, when I got raped 24 times as a kid, to 2014. If you guys didn't see the store of this place, it's possible I saw the ads like on the boulevard, but I didn't know what they were for. It's kind of weird. I never heard of the store, but when they were showing these one things, I was like, maybe I seen the ads, but I don't really pay attention to too many billboards. So it's probably so subconscious. It was probably just going down, unless it's a rock band or something that's flashing, So it's a play, Yeah, apparently. I was saying like they had all the guys take their tops off and roaming around all young in the store, and nobody had a problem with this. I go, yeah, because they were raping kids left and right out here. There was kids being out here on the street in 1992. All down that boulevard, they were trafficking them. Some of the kids probably were out there trying to, survive and doing those things. There was a number of things. So the cops were, watching rapes and, being part of rapes and everything. Okay. Everything bad you could think of, 1992. So this conduct was absolutely normalized with the baby boomers and the Gen X right here. So Gen X is a hot mess, and they're going to grow up to be rapists, and that's why you get a David Spade who's a total dick about it. He's like, what? This is what I always know, and these women, you go too far, you know what I mean? Because I have the right to do what I want. Yeah, I mean, just what the hell? So, that you're going to have a lot of weird stuff in this. Okay, so the U.S. Attorney for the Eastern District of New York will have a press conference on the charges Tuesday. And Smith, Jacobson, Jeffries operated an international sex trafficking and prostitution business from 2008 to 15. Yeah, I don't know what happened prior to that, but it's going to be just as bad. But it may have just been that because the operations of their business, they started opening up, maybe they started opening up other stuff, or they just didn't get enough victims to pop up forward yet for some anything earlier, or they don't want to go back to a portion. I'm not sure on that portion, but he would have always been that way, you guys. That's the thing. It's not a thing like years later, all of a sudden he's like, you know what? I'm going to start raping people. No. So in the Diddy story as well, they have gone to places like Finland, different areas. So trust, you'll see the same thing here. I was saying the same thing with Kevin Spacey. Kevin Spacey is also in that little ring of people, and they're all cuddling together. It's so disgusting. I was like, yeah, I mean, if there was any people that you go, who do you think would be in that ring? You're like, oh, Anthony Kiddies. Oh, Kevin Spacey. Oh, Andy Dick. I don't know if Andy Dick was totally in this thing, but he was at a party. He would so be down with that thing. We know that much. But people that would be potentials that we've already talked about. And I swear you could just take their name, put their name and go, and Diddy. And then you go search and there they are together. And another person that happened with was Jeremy Piven. And I go, oh yeah, shit. That guy, I go, I wish I found the Diddy story before the Jeremy Piven story, because then it goes into the whole other thing with these other people. And I was saying, all these people covered up for, they're covering up for all the bigwigs that made them all famous. So as you see, their business ties, and then they turn evil on anyone that comes out and says anything. And they're very vocal about it. They're like, I teach my kids loyalty. I was like, oh, you teach your kids to be gangbangers. So they never say anything bad about you. So you could abuse the shit out of them. It's like this whole thing. And then if somebody says anything bad about your mama, you need to go after them. I mean, how psychotic is that? You can say whatever you want about my parents. If it's not true, I'll say something. But I mean, if they did something, they did something. I'm not going to be attacking people that have an issue with my parents, because maybe my parents are evil and they did some bad things to other people. Your kids are not your protection ring. Child abuse. And they wonder why their kids are out here doing drugs. And, they don't get along with them later. There's a whole thing to that. I go, you're going to understand this, whole universe. It's awful. These kids are a mess. But look at their parents. Listen to what they're saying in public. I was thinking, oh my God, I don't even know if that Madonna thing was even true or not. But I was like, I hope that's a joke. When I was reading it, I go, that's a joke. I don't know if she's doing it just for attention, because that's all she does anyway. But it's something my kids have to pretend to be happy or some bullshit. And I was like, your kids are going to be a hot mess if that's even real. But I was reading it it reads fake. If that's real, they all need help over there. A federal indictment alleges Jeffries, along with Smith and Jacobson, okay, so they did that. And then that they organized sex events in England, France, Italy, Morocco, New York for Jeffries, Smith, and others. They employed coercive, fraudulent, and deceptive tactics in connection with the recruitment, hiring, transportation, obtaining, maintaining, solicitation, and payment of the men to engage in commercial sex. Okay. Now I know that there's communities that are they're into, swinging, swinging. So what differentiates, when you're trying to explain this stuff to people, what differentiates something like that in a community like that is like-minded people coming together where they're into the same thing. It's not, oh, do you want to do this? And we're going to say, or not say what it is and then bring you into it. And all of a sudden it turns into this thing. Okay. That wasn't going on with certain people out here, because they do have a private place, and as far as I'm not part of it, but as far as I know, it's on the up. But this is the job that we worked at. Okay. So they put an ad out. They said, hey, this job, you get paid this much, up to this much a week. There's no this, there's no that, there's no this. It's a really great job, and you get to socialize and blah, blah, blah. And it sounds really fun, right? So you go, and then all of a sudden, it slowly starts turning into a human trafficking, right? Yeah, so it started slowly turning into this dark underworld of things. And so it was done by fraud, coercion, deceptive tactics. This was the same thing with the other, the Alice camp, right? So he put something in the public that was relating to what he wanted to do with the band and create them, like all these entertainment people do. So the record labels and stuff. So they create the artists, right? They got little Justin Bieber, and they're like, he's pretty sellable like this, right? So we're gonna, work on this product. They see him as a product, right? And then so if he wasn't quite there, Usher wasn't there yet, right? Sure, they give him to P. Diddy to harm him into being a punk like P. Diddy. I don't know, something like that. So anyway, they manipulate him into being another human to be what they want to market to the garbage public, right? Because they got to market to the public that wants crappy stuff, okay? So they got to market them to the public. That's what he put in the public, though, that he wanted to do this with the band, right? Okay. So then I contact them and I go, oh, this would be great because they need to have a female version because there's no female artists like this out here because they're all pop stars, right? They all want to be, you know, the next Madonna or the next, Paula Abdul, and all these things, but nobody was in this genre like that. So I was like, yeah. This would be absolutely brilliant. Like, I was like, my whole mind on it. I was like, oh yeah. And I could take over the world, Peaky. No, so I sent him a thing and I was like, nobody's going to contact me back. It was just one of those things. And weeks later, their team contacted me. And so it is definitely outlined exactly and with the ad, with the media story that it's related to. So it was very clear what it's about, guys. And I was 16 years old when I sent that. And I still have it to this day. Because to me, I kept it because it was showing that I could go for my dream. It's so effed up. I kept it for the reasons that was what got me here, before it all turned to this. But, and also that you should save everything that you send people, that kind of thing. But, yeah, and then turned out to be that they're all into little girls. Okay, so that shit is a ring. So the minute you find that out, though, the thing that could save your ass in that thing is that the minute you find out about it, then you need to tell authorities, not for me, but for them, because they're the ones that did it. So if your employee did it, then you are in charge of taking care of that. The boss. Don't put it on me. The boss. And so when I go tell the lawyer, you would think the lawyer didn't even, it wasn't even like, we're going to pay you off. It was, oh, you know what that's about. Anyways, like, we all do this up in here. Like, all the lawyers do this up in here. Like, it's so normal to get some little girl. Okay. For sex. Like, they're trying to get children. And it was so nonchalant that it went 1 second, woo, woo, woo. And then it went off into how great I am, of star quality. The same thing that Diddy was telling little Justin Bieber. Or no, it was that L.A. Reid. You're so beautiful. He's beautiful like a woman. Yeah. Okay, so I got the whole same spiel, okay? But I'm going to tell you this, that those people are not going to F around with people that they don't think that can't make them money. So there would be none of this 10-year bullshit, okay? I'm just saying, because at the end of the day, the thing at at the end of this whole thing, they want money. And then the second part of it is that this guy wants to have sex with every single thing under the sun here. He wants to rape everybody. To get this whole lifestyle that they want, they need money, right? They get money. They use it as a lure. I cannot tell you how many times men have just opened their wallets and they're like, I have money. What's your problem? Like, oh, I should, you have money. I should automatically go do something with you. I don't know what that means. What? And they've been really offended by this and like they don't get it or something. Like, what? What's wrong? What's wrong with me? I got money? I got money? What's your problem? And then they'll get all retaliatory and then they target me into the street. Okay, so that's actually been happening. And why would that happen? Because it's a mafia. It's a organized crime. So they're not going to lift me up in a business where I'm more than willing to take them down. If you think of it as any other gang, I'm not in their gang. So what they want is people to join in their gang. If you can wrap your mind around what's going on here. So I'm not in their gang. I am a threat to their livelihood. So they're going to do everything and anything atrociously horrible to either mute me down or try to kill me. Government has said some really gnarly things to me on the phone. And in those conversations have things to do with they don't care if I die. So if you go and do something and make a victim homeless, let's put that for example, because that's a hate crime. And the reason for that situation is because of a human trafficking ring. A human trafficking ring that LA County licensed out to be legal. Somebody owes money to a lot of women. So in that ring, there was probably thousands of women, workers. And LA County owes every single one of those females. I actually tried to go after it. They only gave them a few $100s. They tried to pay me off with $600. Do you think that sounds right, you guys? You know why it was so low? Because I've said this. They crossed out my complaint and put, oh, I complained only about lunches. That's bullshit. So, and that was only one extension of this bigger universe of things. And so in that universe of things, all the wealthy men were coming up in here shopping. So who was shopping? Record labels. Record labels were coming in shopping, trying to get women. And I go, you know what? This is the most insane thing. I'm in the industry. I'm in the music industry at this point. And there's an industry guy coming in to me and asking me to go to a record label party. And they were trying to lure me with $200 and claiming it was nothing but me serving drinks. I go, you know what? I don't believe this. I don't know what the hell is going on here, but I don't believe this story. Sure enough, I didn't go, but I kept grilling him. I kept grilling that guy. I kept grilling him. I go, I just don't believe it. I don't know why you would be coming in downtown LA into this little seedy hole. And you're going to try to get me to go work a record label party? For $200? Questioning. Yeah, and then he's like, you know what it's about. Why would you keep asking me that? Like, I don't know. Is some fucking comment, dude. Like, I should know. I should know. Oh, really? Yeah, so maybe everybody out here know that. I don't know that. But I suspected it because I'm like questioning this whole action here. Because they were all perpetrators coming in there. And also that the cops were involved. Now what's happening here is that they're gang members and that the people that I'm reporting that to are actually outing victims to the gangbangers. If you'll notice, every time you call the cops, or I mean not the cops, every time you go to, if you go to the human trafficking agencies or any other agency, they will continually just throw out this robotic message, contact the cops. So you could go, they're a bunch of organized crime criminals and they got me raped and blah, blah, blah. Okay, call the cops. Yeah, and I'm just like, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Yes, they are stupid. And you need to be aware because they can get you murdered. So, yes, I already knew that there was massive organized crime going on in here. Yes, for a very long time. Very long time. I couldn't talk about too much of it online because they're criminals. And they kill people. Like, it's not a joke. They actually kill people. You know, and I have to care about my own safety many times, and government doesn't. So what does government do? If you throw me out to them, you have a wish for me to be dead. And those are the players in the stories. Government and this organized crime. But also, is your income pretty effed up? Well, you should be pissed off about this whole thing because it's a pyramid scheme. The men who attended the events allegedly were led to believe that it could lead to modeling opportunities to help their careers, or that not complying with requests for certain acts during the sex events could harm their careers. Yeah. They're not prostitutes. This is a terrible word to use in this story right here. And just generally, it should not be used anymore. But government still wants to slap down how much they hate women. The men were required to sign non-disclosure agreements and surrender their wallets and phones during the events. Okay, so I had my phone. I don't know if they confiscated it or what the hell happened, but they wanted to take away our phones in one of the job places. And they said that I couldn't talk to another human being inside the place. And I had to actually run out of the building to escape. That business is still running. Can you explain to me why government would still be running a human trafficking ring even after I reported to the human trafficking hotline, even though I reported to the labor board, and even though the cops are being outed as gang members right now, that it would still be an operation? At least the last time I checked. Maybe, I mean, it could have closed down the past year, who knows, but it was still an operation. It claims to make $20 million a year, and I'm questioning how the hell. And I wasn't paid. Like, there was a whole thing to it. And I go, they're making women homeless. They are trying to traffic every girl that comes into those businesses. And the girls just are like, oh, I'm fine with it, I guess. Or they're getting forced into things that they didn't even want to do. And then it just becomes a thing where they have to work there. It's a horrible thing. But nobody should take away your phone at any job. And nobody should not let you go to the bathroom alone. Nobody should not let you go to your car. That's just craziness. Yeah, they had a guy follow me to a bathroom. I go, this is absolutely beyond. Okay, so Jeffries, Smith, and Jacobs also allegedly recruited, hired, and paid an exclusive set of household staff to facilitate and supervise the sex event. The staffs provided Jeffrey, Smith, and the men who attended alcohol, muscle relaxants known as poppers, which is very popular with the gay community, by the way, and Geraldo, lubricant, Viagra, and condoms, among other items. Either Jacobson or the staff paid the men for attending the sex events, the indictment said. Yeah, these private events, if you didn't see this documentary, I think I had to pay to watch it. Wait, where's this thing? Jacob, okay, faced a single sex count trafficking as well as 15 counts of interstate prostitution tied to 15 alleged victims. The report said 12 men described it. Well, why are they calling it prostitution if they have 15 alleged victims? Like, the wording here is terrible. The report said 12 men described attending or organizing events that included sex acts for Jeffries and his partner Matthew. And those events took place from 2009 and 15. Some of the men who spoke to BBC said they were exploited or didn't participate willingly. That whole thing was scary. Because they had this, like, place that was, like, far off in the middle of nowhere. And it was, like, this really nice building, right? It was this house or something. And they just go into this place, and it's just Jeffries. And he's, like, was he in his underwear or something? Like, I don't know. Or he had them get in their underwear or something. And then all of a sudden, they lead him into a room. I was like, I would freak the hell out. Because there's no way to escape. Like, they took him to this property. And they open up this door, and there's, like, all these men in there having sex. It was, like, a big old Diddy fest up in there. And I was like, oh, no. Yeah, so then what do you do? So they all kind of participated because they didn't know what to do. It was messed up. I was like, that thing right there, it's a thing that you can't run and leave. Where are you gonna go? You know, so Jeffries would not comment on the report about his personal life. Okay, so A&F said the company was appalled and disgusted. Well, they're making all big money right now because this is probably helping them getting attention. Bieber told NBC News, we will respond in detail to the allegations after the indictment is unsealed and when appropriate, but plan to do so in the courthouse, not the media. Shortly after the report, they were sued for allegedly turning a blind eye to Jeffries' alleged misconduct. That civil suit alleged he sexually abused numerous men after luring them with the promise to coveted modeling contracts. Today, arrests are monumental for the aspiring male models who were victimized by the individuals. Their fight for justice does not end here. We look forward to holding A&F liable for facilitating this terrible conduct and ensuring that this cannot happen again. Yeah, well, the fact that anybody okayed this also okays this conduct on women. So you can't okay anybody doing this, not even on a single group of people. Not on a single group of people, because it means that they do it to everybody. So we have this major problem going on. Women have been promoting this, and they'll come out here and be like, I'm for male victims. And then where are they? Where are they? Okay, wait, where are they? They're so fake.